Understanding dopamine and craving is the key to beating addiction. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to get into it really quickly. It's very important to name and claim whatever it is that you are going through or experiencing, because once you're able to put a name or a concept to either an issue or a problem, then your mind is able to contextualize. Your mind contextualizes the problem and is able to fit it into a framework of understanding so that you can move forward with conscious awareness of the issue that you're going through. And this has to do, I believe, with the prefrontal cortex and executive decision making and thinking things through our rational mind rather than always acting out of emotion, which is from the limbic part of our brain. So why is dopamine and craving important if we want to get free of our addictions or bad habits? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Dopamine isn't necessarily the pleasure chemical, as everybody likes to say that dopamine is involved in pleasure. While yes, it's true, dopamine is more important in the function of desiring, craving, wanting, liking, and learning. So whenever you get an urge to go and to repeat a behavior, that's generally because you've had dopamine reinforce that behavior in one way or another prior to that behavior becoming a habit. So if you ever feel an urge to go and drink alcohol or watch pornography or have sex or partake in substance use, whatever your addiction may be, often it's because we are triggered by a cue in our environment that is associated with a part of our semantic network in the brain, which triggers a memory and a craving. So we start craving our object of desire. Now, dopamine comes into play here when we crave what we desire. And when we don't have what we desire, we feel a pain because we don't have our want. We want something, we feel dopamine, and because we don't have that thing, our dopamine level drops below the baseline and we feel pain and discomfort. And this pain and discomfort triggers motivation to push us towards attaining our desire or towards achieving our goal. This is the basis of addiction. So whenever a trigger comes up and causes you to desire something and you feel that urge or that want to that craving to go and seek something out, that's dopamine pushing you to go and seek that reward. When you get the reward, you're not actually getting as much dopamine as you are in the anticipation of the dopamine or in anticipation of the reward. And this is called the reward prediction error. When we anticipate a reward, the reward is unattainable, dopamine drops below the baseline level and we feel kind of a crash or we feel down, and this in turn motivates us to go and seek that reward by any means necessary. When you're able to understand why dopamine is so important in craving and addiction and urges and triggers and cues, you can take control of your cues and cravings and realize that a lot of this happens on a preconscious level. When we see a cue in our environment, we feel an urge to go and attain the object of our desire, and this is all fueled by dopamine. And when we realize this trigger reward pathway, we can mediate it, we can intercede and stop ourselves before we go and conduct the activity that will garner us that reward, which is oftentimes an addiction, a drug, a substance, alcohol, sex, porn, social media, cell phones, notifications, checking text messages, all these different things. Now, why social media and porn and cell phones are so dangerous is because there's no effort in attaining a reward. Now, generally when we go out into the real world, we have to put effort in to attain something, and we get the dopamine at the end of attaining something through hard work and effort and usually pain. So the pain of not having our object of desire motivates us to seek that out and to move towards our goals. But if we short circuit that by traveling the shortest route to the stimulation of dopamine, such as through pornography and cell phone and social media use, then we're short-circuiting our dopamine reward system, and we're reinforcing our behavior to seek the alternative digital avenue of dopamine stimulus and reward, when in actuality we're conditioning ourselves to go the easiest route possible to attain the reward. And that has all kinds of problems, not only on a physiological level but on a psychological level, because it teaches us that why would we want to work hard and dedicate ourselves to something that takes hard work and might not elicit immediate reward, when we can short circuit and find a shorter path to the same feeling, which is the anticipatory release of dopamine and then the dopamine release when we attain our goal. So this is the threat of cell phones and porn and social media, and we need to be very cognizant of this, because it's conditioning and rewiring our brain and shaping who we are as we go further into the digital world. So I hope this video finds you well. Give me a like and subscribe, and check out this one for more.